Am I the a-hole for kicking my husband's sister out for leaving a fake pregnancy test in my bedroom? My 33 husband, Adam 36, came back from his month-long trip days ago. My in-laws live states away, and my sister-in-law 20 was staying with me since she got kicked out of her dorm. Adam and I got back from the airport at 7 p.m. and my family came to visit. Adam went inside a bedroom and started unpacking while I was in the kitchen with my mother. I suddenly heard Adam shouting my name. He told me to come upstairs ASAP. He sounded very angry. I went to meet him in the bedroom, and I saw him holding a positive pregnancy test in his hand. I was dumbfounded. He began questioning me, saying he found it inside my sock drawer. He asked, "You gonna explain to me what the hell this was doing there?" I was speechless from my shock as I understood what this might have looked like to him. I said I had no idea. It wasn't mine, and I'd never seen it before. He kept telling me to explain how it got there if I'd never seen it, and it wasn't mine. My family heard a commotion and tried to intervene, but Adam locked the door. I freaked out because I literally had no idea what was going on. Adam said he just wanted me to be honest. I said he had a right to be mad, but I knew nothing about it and had no explanation. He said mad doesn't even begin to cover it. Then suddenly started putting everything back in his bag, saying he was going to stay with a friend till I call him up with an explanation. He unlocked the door and found my family waiting. His sister showed up asking what was going on, then started laughing, asking, "So, was it really positive or not?" I was stunned as she proceeded to say she planted a pregnancy test in the drawer as a prank, and that everyone should come down. She was like, "Bruh, chill. Have you ever heard of fake pregnancy tests? They're pretty telling." I was livid. I screamed at her, asking how she thought this was funny and that it was okay to humiliate me in front of my family. She tried to justify it by saying it was her boyfriend's, who has ASPD by the way, idea to bring laughter to the atmosphere. But I told her she was no longer welcome in my home after what she did. Adam took a seat to calm down, watching us argue as my mom got involved, asking me to take it easy. I insisted that my sister-in-law pack and leave right then, and she started crying and apologizing, saying she had nowhere to go, begging Adam to do something, but he didn't. I called her an Uber and had her leave. Mother-in-law heard and started calling me, shaming me for kicking her daughter out like that. I told her what her daughter did, and she still said my reaction was over the top, as her daughter is being naive and is a kid acting recklessly. She said we're her family and I should consider taking her back, but I said I won't. Edit. I too was confused by Adam's reaction, and I have a feeling he was in on the prank too, based on how serious it was being. Mom thought the same thing, and I wouldn't be surprised since A, he remained quiet when I argued with his sister, and B, he always does pranks with her and sees nothing wrong with her behavior. He actually thinks she's funny. I don't know if I'll ever be sure about him taking part in her prank. Edit 2. Adam and I struggle with infertility on his side because of his health issues, so that added to my anger since it seemed like his sister was being cruel and insensitive. Now for the top comments. Not stay home. Also kicked out of her dorm room. Pretty much leads me to believe sister-in-law isn't house-trained at all. To be frank, she didn't disclose the reason why they got her kicked out of dorm, but she said it wasn't her fault. With people like this, it's never their fault. Not stay home. Whoever would even think for a second that was funny? I don't know, but my in-laws, including Adam, see no issue with how my sister-in-law behaves. Moreover, they think her mentally unstable boyfriend has an influence on her character. Not stay home. Frankly, the only a-holes here are your husband and your sister-in-law. Your sister-in-law for the distasteful prank and your husband for not giving you the benefit of doubt. I would have told your husband to stay somewhere else for the night and to think about who he thinks he married. Not stay home. Bruh, it counts with people in these comments. They struggle with infertility from his side, so he's naturally probably a little insecure. Plus, he found an effing pregnancy test when he was gone for a month. Of course, the natural thought in that moment was that she was sleeping with other men in his bed. Literally anyone would have shouted. And with closing the door a bit, he never stopped her from going outside. He locked the door because he doesn't want unnecessary people interfering in their very, very personal business. Is this so hard to understand? Or we see a man and automatically assume that he's an abuser. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not including my wife on a family trip? I, 44 male, am the only boy of my family. My sisters are 46, 42, and 39 respectively. My wife is 39, and we just got married about 6 years ago. We have one daughter aged 4 and a son aged 3. My parents are both in their 70s. Sadly, we recently found out that my father doesn't have much time left. My sisters and I all spent our formative years in a northern Midwestern state, but my father received a job offer on the East Coast when I was 11 years old, so we moved there and we've all lived in that general area since. When we received the bad news about our father's prognosis, my parents decided that we should take a family trip to our old state to visit old family gravesites, old family homesteads, cousins, etc. It just seemed like something that was very important to our parents. I thought that this seemed like a very worthwhile trip. Somehow, though, it got decided that this trip should include just the siblings and grandchildren, which seemed to me as bizarre. My older sister never got married or had kids, and I don't think she had any say in this. I think it was my 2 younger sisters, both of whom are struggling in their marriages and are on the verge of divorcing their husbands, who decided this. I argued back and forth with them that spouses should be included in this trip, but I was outvoted. I think both of my parents would have been happy to include our spouses, but they were just going to go along with the majority decision because it is most important to them to have their kids and grandkids there. When I told my wife about this, she became very upset. She said that if for no reason, as the mother of the 2 children I would be bringing along, that she should be included so that she didn't have to be away from her kids. I told her that I absolutely agreed, and that I stood up for her, but that I was outvoted. She then told me that I should take a stand and refuse to go on this trip unless she is included. But I told her that the trip was too important for me to dig my heels in and miss for any reason, so that I would be going, even if in protest. She, let's just say, was not happy with me. I understand my wife is upset, but I don't think it's fair for her to force me to make this choice. Am I the a-hole? Just got married 6 years ago. 6 years is more than just. I wonder if it's because it feels like they got married a little later in life. Like if they're 39 and 44, people could think they've been married 15 years and wanted to clarify. It's still weird phrasing, but that's what I jumped to. I'm from a small town, and most people there get married in their early 20s, which may be why I jumped to that. I wonder why the sisters are on the brink of divorce, selfishly making demands for getting what the trip is about. Just say, sorry, the wife is coming, and go on the trip. What are they going to do? Exactly. Who are they to decide anyway? If I were him, I would do this. You're the a-hole. Look, not going is not an option, I get it. But take your wife. What are your sisters going to do? Ignore them. Be a man and stand up for your wife. Honestly, what are your sisters going to do? Leave? That's their problem. This is a tacit statement that while her children are part of the family, your wife isn't. Be a man. Not today home. Crazy how no one says anything about the wife giving him the damn ultimatum. Like, don't go on the last trip with your dad? The trip is for the father and his children. If he agreed to only having the grandchildren and children, only then your wife is allowed to be upset. But to force you to choose is too much. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for allowing my husband to harass my cousin? So, my 26 female husband, 30 male, has fun trolling people and getting under their skin online and WhatsApp, but is never rude in person, just in cyberworld. It's just his personality. We have this cousin Chad and one cousin Samuel, 30 male, who's always been sensitive to my husband's antics. He did directly tell my husband he doesn't appreciate him making fun of his beliefs, politics, appearance for laughs, but my husband continued to do it, and Samuel eventually just took it and remained quiet. We were all at peace for about a year, and my husband continued to make jokes, but Samuel ignored it. My husband made another joke about Samuel when Samuel's wife, Aaliyah, 25 male, stepped in, saying she didn't appreciate us using her husband as punching bag, and everyone on the chat is rude for not stopping my husband. Aaliyah's always been a hothead. Someone offends somebody else, she always steps in and attacks. She doesn't let people fight their own battles, and it's annoying. So my cousins and I made a private chat talking about how Samuel is too sensitive and Aaliyah shouldn't be so crazy. Somehow Aaliyah found out about this and messaged me. Here is the part of messages which I want people's opinions. Aaliyah, your husband is rude, but you are worse. You always post messages on Facebook saying if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. Be kind, love first. But when me and my husband directly say your husband is offending us, you just say it's his personality. Me. It is just his personality. It's your fault you don't understand everyone's relationship. Everyone got along until you came. Aaliyah, what are you talking about? My husband has always disliked your husband. Me, well, he didn't say anything for a year. It means he's okay with it. It's just you. Aaliyah, not true, but okay, let's say it's just me. I'm offended by your husband. You think it's just his personality, right? I'm saying it's hurtful. You could have private messaged me and apologized, or at least asked if I was okay, if you cared about peace and kindness so much. Me, I have nothing to apologize for. My husband and I didn't do anything wrong. You just don't understand our dynamics and always try to pick a fight. It went on for a bit, but then Aaliyah eventually let it go. So Reddit, what do you think? Should I have reached out and apologized for my husband's behavior? My family is saying Aaliyah is just crazy and Samuel is just overly sensitive. Edit, Aaliyah doesn't just politely say stop. She throws disrespectful insults as well. You're the a-hole and your husband is an a-hole. 1. It's not his personality. It's him being an a-hole. 2. Samuel wasn't okay with it. He just realized that no one was on his side and decided to take it to keep the peace. 3. Aaliyah is right. Your husband is mean. 4. You owe both Aaliyah and Samuel an apology. I think she's an a-hole too. What nice person lets their someone else be harassed and bullied and thinks, "Ow, that's a completely normal personality trait online from their bully." Let's not stick up for the victim, but continue to shower the bully with love and affection through marriage. You're the a-hole. No one but OP is not a nice person. Nice people don't advertise how nice they are. They demonstrate it with their behavior. Only complete a-holes feel the need to constantly talk about being nice. You are 100% correct, OP. It is your husband's personality, and he has the personality of a bully. And you have the personality of a total hypocrite. You're both a-holes, and so is your cousin group, with the exception of Samuel and Aaliyah. You and your husband both owe Samuel and Aaliyah sincere apologies. Not any of those passive BS, "I'm sorry you were hurt" apologies, but genuine, contrite, "I am sorry my actions hurt and offended you" apologies. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my ex-husband have my deceased daughter's ashes? I am an Indian woman who came to the United States on a student visa and met my ex-husband Dean. My family wasn't happy about the relationship, but eventually relented when they realized we were serious about each other. I got pregnant a few months into our marriage and gave birth to our daughter, Asha. After I gave birth, I developed PPD, and as a result, our marriage suffered and never really recovered. I was on antidepressants. 2 years after her birth, my ex-husband got close to his co-worker Laura, and they began a 2-year torrid affair. When eventually got caught, he apologized for hurting my feelings but claimed he was in love with Laura. We divorced, and I was left in the US all alone without any emotional or family support. The divorce happened in 2017, and we shared 50-50 custody of Asha. In February 2020, I decided to visit my family in India as my extended family had never met my daughter. The original plan was to stay in India for 3 months, but the plans changed as the world got locked down. One day, my daughter complained of uneasiness and stomach pain after she had her usual lunch. I gave her a digestive enzyme and asked her to rest. When I went to check in on her an hour later, she was gone. I still don't know what happened that day, but after that moment, everything was a blur. My sister informed my ex-husband, but because borders were shut, he couldn't come to India for the rituals. I cremated my girl according to Hindu rituals and later immersed her ashes in the Ganges as per our customs. I have refused to take any calls from ex in the past 1 year as I am still dealing with grief. My ex has reached out to me and wants my address to get some of her ashes. I let my sister convey to him that the ashes have been disposed of as per customs. He is now furious and wants me to come back to the United States and give him some of her toys. I have planned on never going back. He already has some of her clothes and toys, and I refuse to directly talk to him. That part of my life is over and done. Am I the a-hole? To answer a few questions. 1. We were told she suffered a cardiac arrest. She was already dead when she was brought to the nearest hospital. My ex was sent all the details of the hospital documents. 2. He and his family were sent the Zoom link for the funeral. 3. He already has half of her belongings. 4. I didn't keep her ashes. It was disposed of the day after the cremation in the Ganges as per Hindu religious beliefs. 5. He was informed of all the rituals that were going to take place beforehand. He probably didn't understand them. 6. No, I wasn't in contact with him. My family was. 7. The reason he had no problem with me taking Asha to India was because in 2019, he took her to Russia to meet his grandparents. 8. When we left for India, it was early February, and we didn't realize COVID was going to be a global pandemic. 9. My ex's heritage is Russian Jewish. He didn't follow his religion when we were married, and I raised her Hindu. Now for the comments before reading the little update. You are dealing with a lot, and I don't think this sub is the place for you right now. That said, you ask, and you're the a-hole. I understand you're grieving the loss of your daughter, but so is your ex. You say what happened to Asha on the day she got sick is a mystery to you, and you were there. Imagine how he feels that he saw his daughter off on what was supposed to be a 3-month vacation. Is then told she is dead, is then told her remains have been disposed of, and can't even get you to talk to him. If I were him, I would have suspect that Asha is still alive, and the whole thing is a ruse to cut her off from him. Please consider talking directly to him. It may not be as painful as you were anticipating. In fact, it may help you to grieve with the other one person who can understand how it feels to have lost your daughter. He might also suspect that Opie had a hand in her death. He's probably thinking all kinds of crazy things. You're the a-hole. He is her father. He was an active part of her life. You're being vindictive. His affair has nothing to do with him being a father and wanting to have a part of his daughter. I hope you can live with yourself for being so horrible to a grieving parent. You had no right to unilaterally decide what to do with her remains. Your customs don't override his. You should have given him half of the ashes. Update. I realized that people believe I'm the a-hole. I understand and accept judgment. I didn't ask for advice, and no, I'm not going to talk to him ever again. We are done. He can hate me. I don't care. Since I didn't get to be with her in her last days, I'll be sending him a pair of her shoes that she wore during her India visit. My family will contact him regarding the same. Me not talking to him personally is nothing out of the normal. Even when Asha was alive, I kept communication to what the court stipulated. No chit-chat, no weather talk. It was just business. We communicated via email. I have no reason to talk to him now. People can call this being vindictive. I call this my boundary.